You're listening to the Beyond Mommy Dearest podcast, where we talk about growing up with narcissistic moms, how it shapes your nervous system, your relationships, and your sense of self, and how to heal without shame. I'm your host, Noelani Pearl Hernandez.
This episode is sponsored by the Happy Cannabis, body products designed to help you on your healing journey by supporting your nervous system with every application.
Today's episode, we're talking to the producers of the powerful film, I Love You, My Narcissist. The title alone captures something that many people struggle to explain. How do you hold love and harm in the same relationship? So excited to talk to Ali and Stephanie today.
I should have known better.
This could happen to anyone, and anyone out there who thinks this can't happen to them, then they're the next one in line.
Narcissists get really, really good at seeking out victims.
You don't need other guys in your life anymore. You have me.
We'll often fight for the thing we want to be true.
Honey, do you love me as much as I love you?
Yes, I do love you.
But it was just so perfect.
You barely know this guy.
You can trust me.
What does a healthy relationship look like?
Well, Stephanie and Allie, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited that you're here. I am definitely spoiled because this is my third time interviewing Stephanie and Allie. So I'm the lucky one here. So thank you for making time and being here today.
Thank you so much for having us and inviting us for this conversation.
Yeah, definitely. What I'm going to do is, for those of you who are going to watch us through the video, you should have already seen the teaser. Also in the show notes, you'll be able to watch the trailer, watch the teaser, and sign up for the watch party, which is really, really important. So I want to start off with the first question I have for you is what really inspired you to create I Love You, My Narcissist? Was there a personal story or a specific moment that sparked this project?
Yeah, I think it started for me by actually not really doing film-related research, but just doing research on narcissistic dynamics. Due to my own past experiences, I kind of stumbled upon different YouTube videos and then research, and I was just looking into it. And then when I was looking for something new to focus on for our next production, I was thinking, this is actually a really good topic to talk about, because to me, it felt like when we started to think about this idea a couple of years ago, people were talking about narcissism and narcissistic abuse, but more in a superficial way. Like it was just thrown out all the time. People were throwing out words like toxic and gaslighting, but I didn't feel like people were really understanding what it actually means. So I thought maybe we should spend some time and bring more awareness to it. And at that point, I thought we were going to do a pure documentary, which is really not what we ended up doing. But Ali, maybe you want to jump in here.
Yeah. For me, it was also important to show people that narcissist is not just a person who wants to be center of the attention. Because in my experience, also talking to people about narcissism or about attractive people, also they say, yeah, hey, he is or she is a narcissist. And I ask him, why are you saying that? And yeah, because he or they want to be center of the attention.
Right.
And it's not just this. It's much broader than people expect and think. And at the beginning, Stephanie came up with the idea of making a movie about it. And we came up with the idea of first making a very, very usual documentary where we invite some survivors, some experts from Berlin. Very limited, and interview them, showing some archive photos and videos, and doing some reenactments for the B-rolls and in between scenes also. And then we talked about that. That's not our quality, and that's not what we want to do, because such documentary could work for YouTube, but since we don't have a wide audience and reach on YouTube, so it won't be successful. Then we said, yeah, okay, let's put it on the side and see what happens. And then after 2-3 months, after we put it on the side, suddenly the idea came to me. How about if we create a mixture of documentary and fiction? And this way we could connect to the audience better, because the documentary gives the information people need and the fiction gives the emotions people need. So we thought about that and said, yeah, okay, let's create a hybrid genre and make it happen. Then we looked for the writer and we looked for stories, and then we interviewed around 15 persons who are survivors of narcissistic abuse, and they experienced that in their life, in their family, from childhood to their relationship to their work and everything. And we got inspired by these stories, and then we drafted our 2 main stories that we have in the film, and we added the situations that we got inspired of into these 2 stories. So it means that every story has touches of many different narcissistic abuse situations. And we developed the stories like this, so we could show as much as possible, because a film is also a limited time, so we don't have the possibility to show everything and to focus on every single aspect of these dynamics. And we try to do our best to make it a believable and touchable topic and film for the audience.
I really appreciate that, because I believe that that's really responsible storytelling, especially in a space like this where there's like Stephanie, you were saying, there's a lot of like pulp culture around like using, oh, that person's a narcissist, or that, oh, they're really thinking about themselves. Sorry, that's, oh, what are you trying to do? Gaslight me? Like, I think that's really common right now in our society, and especially American society, where they're using it constantly. And in my experience, people don't understand the depth of what a narcissist does. There's more than just that surface of, maybe all the attention does need to be on them, but there's more depth to it. And from the teaser and the trailer and what you've shared with me, I think that you have all done a really responsible job of being balanced in that too. Y'all also have Dr. Ramani. So from a fangirl standpoint, tell you have to give us the inside scoop. What is Dr. Ramani like?
Stefanie, do you want to start? Or should I start?
I didn't expect that question. I have to think about it.
I know, I popped it up, but a lot of our survivors of the narcissistic abuse, they are commonly using, like, they'll post up one of her Instagrams, because she is, like, from what I've seen, like one of the top 10 of, focusing on this narcissistic abuse, and she's saved hundreds and thousands of lives as a result of it. So I know there might be a little fangirling out there of her. So
Yeah.
whatever insight, if you could say she's a wonderful person, or she's really scientific, whatever it is, we'll take it.
I think what stood out most to me, like I knew she was going to be knowledgeable, and I felt like we wouldn't have any issues with her on set, and that was true. Like we had just such a professional and comfortable shoot with her, and we are also a small production company, so we don't have like we couldn't organize her own trailer for example, but she was fine with us being a small production.
Yeah.
And then what stood out to me most was how funny it was with her on set. We were laughing so
Really?
much, and I didn't expect
Really?
that. Yeah,
That's so interesting. I mean, they say
yeah.
you know, humor heals. What, Allie, what were your kind of insights of Dr.
Yeah,
Ramani?
for me, she's an amazing person. And as Stephanie said, she was very comfortable with whatever we provided. We tried our best to make it a very comfortable set for her during the shootings, and also for the accommodation and everything that was connected to the production. And it's also a funny story how Dr. Ramani got involved in the project, because
Hmm. Hmm.
at the very beginning, we had a long list of experts that we wanted to reach out and ask
Hmm.
for their involvement or their interest into the project. And we wrote a couple of people who are experts in this field. And then for Dr. Ramani, we haven't been sure. Stephanie told me, "Hey, Ali, this is Dr. Ramani. She's the best fit for the project. Her
Hmm.
knowledge, her
Hmm. Hmm.
reputation,
Hmm.
her expertise is amazing for the film. It could give the film a huge value,
Hmm.
but I'm not sure if she accepts." And I
Hmm.
told her, and I told Stephanie, "Okay, let's sit and think about it.
Hmm.
If
Hmm.
we don't reach out to her, nothing will change. Okay,
Right.
but if we reach out to her, if
Hmm.
we get a yes or no response, because we didn't get any responses from many other experts
Right.
that we reach out
Right.
to, and we said, yeah, if she says either no or she doesn't reply,
Hmm.
then nothing will change for us. But
Mm-mm.
the
Hmm.
chances that she replies and then she says yes is also here. So we reach out to her, and we'll see what comes next. And we had at that moment the proof of concept that we already shot for the
Yeah. Yeah.
project.
Yeah.
And we wrote Dr. Ramani an email, and we waited for 2 weeks doing the pre-production and preparation for the rest of the production, and we didn't got back from her. And we have been a little bit disappointed that she didn't get
Yeah.
back to
Yeah.
us.
Of course.
And the next day we got an email. We saw the notification on my phone, and we looked at each other, Stephanie and I, and said, "Is it a dream or what?" And Dr. Ramani said, "Yeah, hey, I like the
I
project. I
love
like
it.
what you are doing. I would like to learn more about the project, what you
Hmm.
are
Hmm.
doing, because I totally understand that you can't trust
Hmm.
everybody for
Right.
projects, especially
Right.
for film projects, because
Right.
you don't know at the end what comes out and what the
Right.
quality is and what's the topic is."
Mm.
And Dr. Ramani wanted to make sure that we are the right project for her.
Yep.
And then we wrote back twice or so, and then we met online. We told her about what we are going to do, what are
Yeah.
our goals, and with this production, and what we want to achieve, and everything. And then after that, she says, "Yes, I would love to be involved." So
I love that.
we we have been so happy with that, because we didn't expect that.
Yeah.
It was for an unknown a small production in Berlin, Germany. Having someone like Dr. Ramani from LA and from the
Mhm.
US in our
Yeah.
project
Yeah.
is not a small thing. It's a
It's
huge
huge.
advantage for the film. And while she was there, it was very interesting, because she also gave us a lot of amazing feedback to the
Mm-hmm.
script and to the stories. And she
Hmm.
also she also told us, for example, about the Michael's character in the film, because
Hmm.
we had originally other castings and other
Hmm.
candidates for the role. And she told us that if you want this story to work,
Hmm. Hmm.
you need to cast Michael with this um with
As
this
this type of person, he needs to have those kind of characteristics so that it works
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
characteristic. Yeah,
story.
exactly.
Got it. Right.
Exactly. And with that we could also cast the right actor for Michael's role.
Mm.
And yeah, she was amazing. And we learned I personally learned a lot during the interviews with her. And I remember that many of crew members, they came to
Mm-hmm.
me and they told me, I never knew that a narcissistic person is like this.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Mm-hmm.
were just surprised. And
Right.
that was amazing. That was amazing.
Well,
And
and
she's an amazing person. So
well, I'm super jealous that you got to meet her. And I think it's really fantastic and great. And I'm glad that she came in on this because there's really important behavior patterns, like you were talking about, Allie, that your crew was like, I didn't realize that that was narcissistic abuse. What were some of those? And they can be specific to maybe what your cast and crew came up with, but what are the patterns that you feel are the most important for the audience to realize during the film or recognize during the film? We know the very obvious stuff, but what kind of undertones are you hoping that they realize?
for me personally, the undertone that I would like the audience to realize is that they could possibly realize as soon as possible that they are losing their personality,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
that they are getting manipulated at during the time, and every day they go away more from their personality, and at one point somehow they don't know themselves either. So
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
that's what happens
mm-hmm,
because they question also their reality. And I
mm-hmm,
hope that by watching this film, people could realize that and could end such relationships before they are fully trapped into them.
mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Stephanie,
I think,
what do you think?
yeah, I think what also helped us with the feedback from Dr. Ramani and also the other experts was figuring out the nuances in the stories. Because in film, it's very easy to go with the biggest drama, the biggest conflict, the biggest
Mm-hmm,
friction,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
but that's not really what we needed to show the narcissistic patterns. So, in
Right.
a lot of ways, we had to shift focus a little bit or dial down a couple of things so it's actually really narcissistic
Mm-hmm,
behavior and not something else. So
mm-hmm.
there it was really helpful to get our experts' feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know for narcissism, there's a lot of comorbidity with other disorders. For
Yeah.
instance, like from my personal standpoint, my mom had narcissism. She was a covert narcissist, so she was a terror behind the door, and just so charming and beautiful and fantastic, in public. And then she also did medical abuse, which is now Munchausen by proxy or factitious disorder by proxy. And for a lot of people, that's hard to pick up on because it's so subtle. And oftentimes, because out here in the US, there's mandatory reporters when it comes to like doctors and whatnot. So those are who usually pick it up because these people who have this kind of disorder, they slowly get bigger in their tactics, right? And so that's always for me it's a really scary thing for a lot of people. Were there any scenes or moments that changed during production because you realized the reality of the narcissistic abuse was even like more complex than you expected? So did
Yeah, I
you
think
okay, sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
a lot. A lot. Even in the writing process, we originally wanted to have three stories, but then we
Mhm.
realized there's just not enough time to
Yeah,
really go into three stories.
yeah.
So we kept one of the stories and then split up or like basically melted the other two stories together in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So that changed a lot of the dynamics. And then for the covert narcissist, it
Hmm.
was more intense for us to really find it and not be too over dramatic with it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I think now we found a way that the two stories and the different types of narcissism are portrayed in a way that it kind of like goes hand in hand, and we
Mhm.
have different strategies and different dynamics that
Mhm.
kind of form the whole picture,
Mhm.
if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Totally makes sense. You know, one of the things that I really appreciated about the film was, especially as a mother of a son, is the and Stephanie, it's your character who Sarah, who is your character, and her relationship that she's in. It seems as if her mother is a narcissist, and then also she's a narcissist towards her partner who is a male. And I thought it was really important that that happen, or that it be portrayed, because oftentimes when we think of any kind of abuse, we're shown the abuse from a male to female perspective and not a female to male perspective. So can you talk to me a little bit about what your intentionality was behind that, for both you and Allie to have the conversation about what worked in regards to that?
Do you want to
Yeah,
start, Ali? Yeah.
yeah. The the reason for that was because we wanted also because we had also male survivors who we interviewed,
Mm. Oh,
and
wow.
we had three male survivors who we interviewed for their story, and
Wow.
the rest were women,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
they shared their story with us, and then we realized that the same situation that is happening to women
Hmm.
from a male narcissist,
Hmm.
the similar situation is happening to men from a female narcissist. So
Right.
why shouldn't we show that? And why should we stick to the stereotypes that narcissists are always men?
Hmm. Hmm.
Women women could be also narcissists. I experienced that also in my relationships before.
Wow.
So
Wow. Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that was important for us to portray the stories and the characters as diverse as possible,
Hmm.
so the audience could understand. Yeah, hey, Dr. Ramani says that also in the film. Actually, it can't happen to anyone, and anyone
Yeah.
out there who it can't happen to them.
Right.
They are the next one in line. So Dr. Ramani says that in the film as well. So it can happen to anyone,
Hmm.
no matter how they educated they are, no matter
Hmm.
how rich
Hmm.
they are, no matter how royal from a royalty they are. That it
Hmm.
doesn't
Hmm.
matter. It could happen to anyone, and it could happen to male, it could happen to female, it could happen
Hmm.
to anyone. So
Right.
we wanted to keep the topic as a diverse topic,
Hmm.
so we don't limit it to just a specific group of people,
Hmm.
and we say the other group of people is amazing. So no, that's
Hmm.
also the case. And
Right.
I see, for example, on Facebook, there are also, for example, a couple of groups that we use for the research, that I use for the research.
Hmm. Hmm.
They are just for male. The group name is Male Victims of Narcissistic
Right.
Abuse,
Right.
and they
Right.
are this group has over, I think, over 1-2 million user in that
Oh
group,
my
and
gosh.
all of them are just male.
Oh my gosh.
No women are allowed in that group. And I think, yeah, that's true. It can happen to anyone, and that was the one of the reasons that why we decided to go with that.
That's amazing. I think that, the other thing that I find is that victims of the narcissistic abuse, it affects them differently, right? Versus male versus female. And so for me, I think it's really important when you have those separate groups. Like, for instance, you all were guests for our daughters of narcissistic mothers, because it's a different dynamic. The abuse is the same, but it's a different dynamic and it shows up in different ways. And for me, like personally, of course, I want to talk about daughters of narcissistic mothers. And I think it's really important to understand how it affects you further down the line in your relationships, in your work, all of that. And I think it's really important to talk about men survivors of any kind of abuse. And if we can start like making this so that it's not shunned upon, It doesn't, and I think one of the things, besides what Dr. Ramani said, that it can happen to anyone, I think that for all survivors, and especially for men, what I want them to understand is it doesn't make them weak. It doesn't make them anything or anything like that. It just means that the narcissist is a little bit better at being a narcissist. And, that gaslighting, that love bombing, all of that stuff, the Darvo, all of that is so strong. And it really, excuse my language, it really fucks you up. Like, it really messes you up. And it pops up at crazy times. Allie, you shared with us last time, and Stephanie, you did too. There were parts where in the film that you had to take a moment to step back. What were kind of the feelings that brought up for you? I know for me, when I see any kind of abuse, and some of it might be my perimenopause and some of it might just be the abuse, my eyes just start leaking, and I start having these reactions very similar to when I was a child with my mom. And then that usually spirals down from there. Can you share with us what stories really kind of brought up those emotions for you, where you had to take a moment or be alone to figure things out?
Mm-hmm. I think for me, I had two moments where I had to step back a little bit. One of them, how do I describe it? That was actually where I felt that Ali was affected by something, and I know what it was about. And in that moment, I had to be in my character as Sarah, and I really couldn't feel any empathy for him and couldn't step out of it. So I was just walking around, pacing around the room and trying to push it down so that I'm in character and not reacting to it. And then there was another situation that a scene was really affecting me, and I had to step out for a moment and just needed to clear my thoughts and distance myself from the character afterwards. And that also happened for other actors in between. And we just really wanted to focus on them having the space when they needed the space to step out, to call our, we had an intimacy coordinator on set.
Oh, yeah.
And she was also there for us as mental support if somebody needed some kind of support and needed to step out and talk to her, which was amazing. And so we were trying to just create a safe space for this and for this emotion to happen and for actors to step out. And I think they felt it too and felt safe with it. I hope, but I think so, yes.
It's amazing. Ali.
Yeah, for me, there have been a couple of scenes that were triggering, and some of them were not triggering, but they reopened some wounds in me from my experiences and my past, and in those moments, for example, for one of them, I remember that I was a little bit angry without any reason. When I asked my assistants to bring my monitor into a single room with closed door, and no one is allowed to come in. And I want to be the whole scene until we wrap this scene. I want to be alone, and no one should come in. And I didn't go out also. And I remember that after the first take, I needed to give the actors, give to Stephanie and Michael's character some feedback on how to make it better. And it was so tough for me that I couldn't talk, because if I just said one more word, I was broken in cry in front of 40 people.
Right.
And I had to stop. I had to stay silent for 2-3 minutes. The people are around me wondering what is just happening, why I'm just silent and I don't do anything. And then give Stephanie and Michael's character Arbenda just word for word every 30 seconds, just one word. You Just keep
Mm-hmm.
it together.
Mm-hmm.
Now keep it together. And that was the process. That was one scene. The other scene that I can also tell to the audience which scene was that, is the very, very last scene of the film,
Okay.
where the end credits appear. With that scene, with the last three dialogues of the main character,
Mm-hmm.
um, during the shoot, I was silently crying
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it reopened some old pains in me,
Right.
and I couldn't help that.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it came out of me, and I just tried to don't show it so obviously so people don't recognize that. And that was there have been some scenes that were like this, and I tried to keep myself together for those scenes, to not to break into
Mm-hmm.
to cry during the
Mm-hmm.
shoot.
And the two of you, and we'll make it more obvious. So the two of you are partners. And so
Yes.
I can't imagine how hard it was, Ollie, for you to watch Stephanie be Sarah. Like, I can't imagine it. And I can't imagine how hard it was for you, Stephanie, when you were Sarah, to do some of those things in front of your director who was Ollie. Like, that's a lot, and I first I just want to thank you, Sarah, or thank you, Stephanie, for like going in to be able to do the Sarah character, because it's hard, especially when you're not that kind of person. It's like icky, right? And so thank you for doing this. I think for, you know, um survivors to really understand um where they are, and to recognize those signs of the manipulation and the gaslighting. Um, what do you hope that people take away from this when they see the manipulation, the gaslighting, or the other narcissistic tendencies? What are you really hoping that the viewers take away from that?
I hope people go away from this film, like people that have experienced a narcissistic dynamic can go away and feel more seen and more understood,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and also more valued in finding their own path and setting their boundaries.
mm-hmm,
Because I think we haven't really learned properly how to set boundaries and how to regularly check in with ourselves if something is okay with us or not. Like
mm-hmm,
that should be something I think that we should learn in kindergarten, in school, like much earlier
mm-hmm,
on, as
mm-hmm,
something
mm-hmm,
profound, um, instead of just trying to please others all the time.
mm-hmm,
Like I'm a big people pleaser too. So I know what I'm talking about.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And that's also something that I learned from Sarah's character,
mm-hmm,
because she's taking much more space than I'm taking, and she's not considering other people as much as I am.
right.
So that was this freeing experience. And I hope that people are going away and, yeah, just checking in with themselves more. And
Mm-hmm,
also, what I would like for them is also to question the places where they have a power dynamic, where they're more
mm-hmm.
in power, that they consider the other side more, and see like what is the other person really experiencing right now, and how can I approach them better, be more
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
responsible.
Perfect. Ollie, what do you want them to take away?
Yeah, I want people to take away from the film that what is Stefani saying, that they recognize the dynamics, recognize the red flags at the very beginning, and don't move forward with such relationships, because
Mm-hmm,
the more you stay in, the harder it gets to get out.
mm-hmm,
And what I really, from all of my heart, want from this film and from people who watch this film is, if they are not in such relationships, they don't tell the survivors
mm-hmm,
why you can't get out, why you don't get
mm-hmm.
out,
Right.
and they don't tell survivors that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
You are not telling me the truth. You are lying about your partner, or you don't like him, or you don't like her, or so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, because many survivors they stay trapped in such relationships because they have no one to trust, no one to talk to,
Mm-hmm.
and they are missing that. And the people around them, after they come to them twice or three times, the
Mm-hmm.
fourth times they have no interest to hear what a survivor is saying, because they say you are complaining the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
stop that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not complaining. That's what they are experiencing.
Right.
Just sit and hear them out. Let them talk.
Mm-hmm.
Let them the whole anger, the whole pain out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This way they could have a better healing journey after they get out of this relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and they might be able to get resources they need, because they have still the capacity, and they are not, and because every person has a specific capacity. If this capacity is reached, you have no possibility for anything
Mm-hmm.
else, and you are
Mm-hmm.
exploding. You are
Mm-hmm.
exploding without exploding. So they need to speak out, so their capacity that reduces, and then they have more capacity to take
Mm-hmm.
in these relationships, because it's not easy. People should stop telling survivors
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
why you don't get out of this relationship. If that was so easy, then all of them, they were out
Yeah.
already. So
Right.
they they,
Right.
they are very smart people. They don't want that, but they have no option. They are isolated. They are depending on the money and the house and everything that the narcissists are providing. So
Mm-hmm.
they can't. So
Mm-hmm.
don't ask them, don't tell them, and just sit and hear them out, what they are
Mm-hmm.
saying, what they are telling you, and try to see if you can help, because
Mm-hmm.
helping is not always giving money or giving
Mm-hmm.
services. You can just by being an ear for
Mm-hmm.
someone, you
Mm-hmm.
can help a lot. And that's what I think, and what I want from all of my hearts for people who watch the film, because the film shows already that all characters in the film are very alone. They
Mm-hmm.
have no one, nowhere to go, no one to
Right.
go, and it's tough for them already. So
Mm-hmm.
we don't need to make it more worse. They make it worse for them to not to come to us. So that's what I
Yeah.
really want.
Well,
I
and
want
I
to add
think,
too.
oh
I
yeah,
want
go
to
ahead.
add too. Survivors are not weak. It's
Mm-mm.
often made out that people that
Mm-hmm.
fall into the trap of a narcissist are weak.
Mm-mm.
I totally disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
The survivors that we met, with their stories, like the way they described their stories and the way they showed themselves to us,
Mm-hmm.
it was very clear that these are some of the
Mm-hmm.
strongest people that we met.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
this is also what we try to portray with the characters. These people are not weak. And also, when you stay in a narcissistic dynamic, if it's a family constellation or a romantic relationship,
Mm-hmm.
it also does not mean that the experience is not real. There are
Mm-hmm.
different kind of circumstances why you still have to be in touch with that person,
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
different kind of dependencies, because you have family with them,
Mm-hmm.
children with them, or
Mm-hmm.
because it's
Mm-hmm.
your family.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that the experience and the abuse is not real.
Yes. Well, and I think that oftentimes when survivors start to tell their story, I know for me, it was really minimized. So I would, try to talk to my dad about it. I would try to talk to my grandparents about it. And there was a factor in it because my mom immigrated to the US, that it was, oh, she's just, she's an immigrant. It's not a big deal. She's just being mean. And I was like, no, you don't understand. This is not mean. I have friends that are mean. Understand what it is. And so that part of it, I know for me, where it shows up is like now, I'm 49, and where this shows up for me is the way I look at myself. Like if I'm really, really tired, I'm having a hard day, like I'll think, oh my God, I look so ugly. And I know that I'm not, but it is, it's a constant. Or we work with my husband and I also own our own consulting firm. So we work with a lot of leaders, and those leaders have a lot of imposter syndrome. And dependent on like what kind of upbringing they had, if I think they might have had a narcissistic parent, their imposter syndrome increases because they just think that they're not good enough. And so I really appreciate the fact that you're calling out that survivors aren't weak, that sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it takes like 10 times for people to get out. For me, I tell a story of I knew the moment that I had my daughter that I couldn't stay with my mom because I did not want that cycle to continue. And for that was a hard thing. I wasn't the perfect mom, and I've become a better mom as time has gone on. And I also know I'm not a narcissist like my mom. I think that's the other thing is there's a lot of gaslighting stuff that goes on to make survivors think that they're also narcissists. So they'll mirror your behavior and they'll say, no, that's what you do. No, I don't do that. And so I appreciate you all putting it in bite-sized pieces for people to say, oh my God, that's a relationship I'm in. Or, oh my God, my best friend's in that relationship. So they can take from it what really helps. Why do you think so we're in America, but why do you think, because I think this happens everywhere in every society, why do you think society often like minimizes or misunderstands narcissistic abuse and compares it to other forms of abuse? Because it's not the same. I know that for a fact, but why do you think that this happens where there's a minimization of what this narcissistic abuse is?
For me, this is because of the lack of knowledge in the justice system most of
Mm-hmm.
the time. Because, for example, Lisa Sonny, one of the experts in the film, she says also a victim could react to abuse that could be recognized as aggression,
Mm-hmm.
but the victim is not aggressive. They are reacting to the abuse. And if
Mm-hmm.
the justice system is not educated, they
Mm-hmm.
could take that wrong and
Mm-hmm.
say you are the predator
Mm-hmm.
and your narcissistic partner is the victim here.
Mm-hmm.
Because in front of the justice system, many survivors that they can now be the react to the abuse and then let it out, and then when they let it out from this explosion because the capacity is reached
Mm-hmm.
already, so they
Mm-hmm.
want to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
It could look not really as a react to abuse for an uneducated justice system, then and it could be recognized in the wrong way. So that's in my opinion that's why it
Mm-hmm.
is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're also narcissists a lot of times are charismatic, and so we're lured into that.
Mm-hmm.
And then with social media, where it's so common to promote yourself and show yourself all the time,
Mm-hmm.
present yourself in your best light and with all your achievements, I think
Mm-hmm.
that's even more common
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
as like more normalized.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then like Ali said, I don't think there's enough awareness, enough knowledge out there for the different ways it can look like.
Well, and I'm very hopeful that, podcasts like this, your movie definitely, that people can pick little pieces of it and say, this is really, really something that I'm feeling. So let me dive deeper into it. And, therapists definitely can help diagnose all those things. And then there's coaches that can help, like, you look to the future and change things. I know for us, one of the things that we really do, and I want to touch upon the fact, films, if there's intimacy in films, there has to be an intimacy coordinator And I think that it was really brilliant of you all, because it sounds like you had a trauma-informed space in regards to your work. And what I always like to say is, when you're working, like, my trauma and how it affects me doesn't stop at 9 o'clock in the morning when I start working. It's not like, oh, trauma, see you later. Like, that show Severance. Like, if the world was like Severance, where all of your emotions disappeared during work, you worked, and then they all get back uploaded, we would have a much better place, or not better, but a much different place. I think that having trauma-informed workplaces, they are hard, meaning you're putting forward other people. And oftentimes when you're working, you don't think of that. You just think of, I have to finish this. I have to finish this. Let's get the task done. So I think that is definitely a really important thing. And I just want to commend you that your intimacy coordinators were there for even more than just the intimacy part. And that I think is a big, big thing. What was the moment that you thought while you were filming where you said, oh my God, people need to see this film? Like, they have to see this. It's going to change your life.
That's a very good question.
Now it's zooming in on your face.
I know.
It
Ollie
was
has
just zooming in on your
audio.
face.
That
while
was
you were
really
thinking.
good.
It was very
What
filmic.
is happening?
It's got the
It's just
autofocus.
zooming in
yeah.
on you thinking.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was really good though, because it like did this as you were thinking. It did this really slow motion. It was funny.
Oh, it was okay. Interesting.
It was
It
perfect.
was
Yeah.
it was very dramatic. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was great. Well, and
It must have been very profound. The thought must have been
people who
very
are
profound.
listening will have to go and watch the video of this now, because I'll have to see that part. It was perfect.
Yeah. For me, the one of the moments that I said, this people should watch this film, was the scene where I can't spoil
No, you don't have to spoil it. Don't spoil it. Talk about your feelings in the scene. They'll know.
The scene was my feeling was in that particular scene that a person can be so charming, can be so amazing, can do so much for you, but they are looking for something, and they are looking for you to repay them. And that was the moment for me where I said people have to watch this, because no one is going to do you a favor. Is going to do you a favor just because they love you. The people who really love you, they do everything without any expectations. They don't ask for anything in return. They will just do it. And if you don't repay, or if you don't do anything in return, they don't care, because they love you.
Yeah. I love that. And I love the fact that there was a dramatic zoom in, because it made it even more like poignant when you said it. Stephanie, what was your thought?
I think for me, it's mostly the shifts, twists in the dialogues, where something is clearly not on the victim to blame, but then it's shifted in a way that confuses the victim and leaves them in the confusion. I think these are the moments where I hope that it clicks for people that haven't experienced the narcissistic dynamic, that they understand, oh, this is how it happens. And this is where the confusion is coming from.
Those are two real, I can't wait to see the movie. Like, every time, like I saw the concept trailer and then I saw the trailer and the teaser and I like messaged Allie right away. I was like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. There's like all this depth into it. And we talked a little bit about the character Sarah and her partner Michael, and there's also like a racial component there that I think is brilliant. I mean, as a person where we work in the space of cultural intelligence and like how a organization works together based on that, I think that telling that story through that lens too is brilliant because there's a lot of power and privilege that happens surrounding that. And when you can remove that in a space, it makes the space so much healthier. So bravo at choosing that. I think that was fantastic. You know, with people who are listening now that are still trying to change their narcissist, whether it's their mom, a romantic partner, their boss, a colleague, what do you want to say to them in regards to this? Like they're really hard, they're focused on trying to change that. What would you like to say?
If it would be me, I won't say anything because narcissists hate silence. They want
Yes.
they want you to blame, they want you to complain, they want you to become aggressive. So at the end they say, yeah, you see, you are the problem. But whenever you say nothing and you don't answer the questions or you don't say anything in return of their arguments or anything, they get more angry. They get more angry. They get more angry, and they explode at some point where they get sometimes physical. So in that moment, I would say, don't say anything. Don't fight with them. Just get out of there. Go somewhere else. Get away from them for the rest of the day, and come back. Because for me, that would be the silent treat that the narcissists give to the survivors.
Yeah.
You give them back.
Yeah.
The point is, the survivors will blame themselves if they get the silent treat because they think they are the problem. But the narcissists, they get mad at themselves and at the partner, and they want to blame you for anything.
Right.
So let's say, cook them for the whole time.
It's the damned if you're doing, you're damned if you don't. Like that's what we like say in regards to like if a survivor has a narcissist like picking at them. So I mean, you might as well just be silent.
Yeah.
And
because
it's a response.
Narcissists love to argue, love to fight, love to tell you are the problem. That's because of you, and so on. But if they don't get anything in return, so they have nothing to say. So that will make them crazy that they can sit there and stop. I tell you from my personal experience, from my family experience. So I experienced it in my life. So as long as I was complaining, I was saying, I was yelling, I was screaming, everything
is the fuel.
Gone.
It's their fuel.
And as soon as I was silent, suddenly escalated. But I had to leave. I had to leave the house. So I'm not in that situation there.
I'm glad that you left. Stephanie, what would you say?
I have two thoughts about it. Something that I saw a couple of times is when a person identified that the other person is a narcissist, is that they're then kind of excusing the behavior, which like it makes it like how do I say this? I think it can help to identify that this is why they're acting the way they're acting. But you shouldn't take it as an excuse because they're still harming you. And you shouldn't just walk away from the experience of them being bad for you in this moment. And then I think what could help is, like I said earlier, to ask the questions to yourself. Is this really comfortable for me right now? Do I want to be here? What do I need from the situation? And if I have to be in the situation, what can I do for myself to make it better for myself, to protect myself? But I'm also not an expert. That's just what I would say to a friend.
Yeah, no, and I think that's great advice, even not as an expert. Like I think that you are probably more an expert because you have done this film than most and being a supportive ear because, one of the things that I find really interesting, well, it's not interesting, it's very common is that narcissists never go to a therapist. Like if you're like, "Hey, let's do couples therapy. Hey, let's do families therapy." Because they like do not like it because they're going to be diagnosed. They're either going to be diagnosed or the therapist is not going to be trained at all. Or they're going to say, "What? Why do you think your partner is a narcissist? They're so kind. They're so blah, blah, blah. They're so all those things." And that
There
is
is
even more dangerous. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's also a problem with the therapy because narcissists make the partner go to therapy,
Yes.
make a survivor go to therapy, and after the therapy session, if there is any court situation or any hearings or anything, they
Yes.
use that against the survivors.
Yes, all the time. It's all the time. And often in court systems, especially when you're dealing with, like, let's say a divorce and you have kids, then
Yeah,
that therapy session is used. And and in another episode, we're going to have some people who are like family court experts. There's really this thought process to, I mean, court is a business. Like, let's be honest, right? Like, court is there to make money. So if a person says, "Here, look at this therapy report," like you said, Ollie, "Look at this therapy report," of course, it's going to figure out how to keep the conflict going. And that that isn't good for anyone. Like, here's what I will say about the justice system. Sometimes it works really well, but when it doesn't work well, it works really, really bad. It's like horrible. Sometimes they get it right and sometimes it's really bad. So I really, really appreciate that. Um, I cannot thank you enough for your time. Can you tell me just kind of when this is gonna, we have the watch party that's coming up,
yes.
and that's going to be happening. You have your premiere in Berlin at the beginning of April. Tell me what then, how people besides the watch party and the premiere, how else they might be able to watch it.
Yeah, for the watch party, they can subscribe to the watch party through the link that is in the description.
Hmm.
The MailChimp ILYMN dash film slash watch party.
Hmm.
And the premiere is in April in Berlin, the international premiere, and the film will be released soon after the premiere. We can't tell the date right now. The date is fixed already.
Hmm. Hmm.
And there will be the option to stream the film at home and also be able to watch it in cinemas, in selected cinemas, selected theaters.
Hmm.
We will publish that first exclusively for the people on the watch party list,
Okay. Hmm.
and after some days to 1 week or so, we will publish it publicly on all social media accounts, so people find out when the film is coming out and where it's coming out.
Fantastic.
About the where it's coming out, the film will be available on Aleph Cine Stream, a TV audio streaming platform from our own company.
Yay. Hmm.
In between many other films that we are offering, it will be developed right now. It will be soon available.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's it. There are good news on the way very soon. And the people who are subscribed to the watch party, they get access to this information before anyone else. Yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect.
the only thing that I can add is that you don't have to wait too long.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. I'm so excited. So please subscribe. I'm going to put the link in this. By the time this is released, it'll be in the show notes. Follow the Instagram account for both I Love You, My Narcissist and us. And we'll be, when the premiere comes up, we'll do all the things to help promote it. Stephanie and Ollie, thank you for your continued support of the work that I'm doing. I'm so honored to be able to do the work to support your work, because I think that there's real change coming. And I'm hoping that we can help heal so many hearts from this. So thank you.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having
you.
us and taking the time.
Ali and Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us today and for doing the work to bring these conversations into the open. Films like I Love You, My Narcissist are helping people put into language their experiences they've carried for years and the kind of visibility that matters. If you'd like to learn more about the film, make sure you follow Ali and Stephanie and sign up for the upcoming watch party so you can be a part of the conversation and support this important project. The information will be in the show notes. And if this episode resonates with you, please remember to follow, rate, and share the podcast so other daughters and survivors can find this space too. Always remember, you're not crazy, you're not imagining things, and you're not alone. Thank you for listening to Beyond Mommy Dearest, and see you next time.
Your skin is a part of your nervous system, and taking care of it is essential to overall balance. Our products are specifically formulated to nourish your skin and bring it closer to homeostasis with every use. Start feeling better in your body today with the Happy Cannabis.